My name is Sahar, and I have spent my entire life in a village nestled in the rugged landscapes of Kunduz, Afghanistan. It is a place where the wounds of the past are carved into the very ground, where the echoes of a harsh civil war still bounce through the air. My village, once a haven of simple joy, now holds a spooky secret that only I have come to understand. I remember the stories my grandmother used to tell me, her voice a comforting presence in a world that seemed to hold its breath. She would talk about a time when our village was alive with laughter and music, when men and women danced under the moonlit sky, celebrating life's small pleasures. But that was before the war, before the darkness came upon us like a relentless storm. The Civil War hurt our village, tearing families apart and leaving behind a trail of hurt and sadness. Many of the men who used to fill our streets with their laughter and dreams were now nothing more than memories, their lives taken by the harshness of conflict. When I was a child, I couldn't fully understand how big the loss was, but I could feel the heaviness that hung in the air like a heavy weight. It was on one dark night that I first became aware of the spooky presence that had come to our village. I had just turned 16, and the world was full of mysteries and possibilities. But that night, as I lay in bed, I heard faint whispers, soft, unclear whispers that seemed to come from the walls of my room. At first, I thought it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but the whispers got louder, harder to ignore. I sat up, my heart pounding, and I realized that the voices were not just in my head. They were the voices of the people who had died, the souls of the men who had been cruelly taken from us during the war. Their words were a sad song, a spooky sound that cut through the quiet of the night. Shaking, I lit a candle and went out of my room, following the ghostly voices that seemed to guide me like a gentle hand. The village was covered in a strange light, the moon hidden by thick clouds that seemed to match the heaviness in my heart. I walked through the streets, following the force that I couldn't see, until I reached the village square, a place that used to be busy but was now empty and sad. And there, in the square, I saw them. The faint shapes of people, see-through and ghost-like. They stood in a circle, their faces full of sadness, their eyes empty but with a spooky look. These were the souls of the men who had been killed, the ones who had not found peace even in death. As I got closer, they looked at me, and I could feel their presence like a heavy weight. They spoke to me, not with words, but with pictures and feelings that filled my mind. I saw their lives before the war, their dreams and hopes. I saw the bad things they went through, the hurt they felt, and I saw the big wounds that had been left behind when they died. Tears fell down my face as I listened to their silent cries, their stories mixing with my own. I felt like I needed to help these souls find peace, but I was just a young girl, and I didn't have much power. In the days after, I tried to find out more about the spooky spirits. I asked the village leaders, and I read old stories and books that talked about things people did to help souls move on after they died. With this new knowledge, I went back to the village square, wanting to offer some comfort to the restless souls. With candles and incense, I did the things I had learned, my voice a quiet sound in the still night. The souls watched me. I wish the fear was over. I wish I could do something to help the souls soar to the air freely. Was it over? No. The mysteries of my haunted village, each revelation unveiled a more ominous truth. I steeled myself against the chilling whispers and confronted the tormented spirits. My body froze, as if bound by invisible chains, as I stood before the malevolent soul. My voice was trapped within my throat, stifled by an overwhelming terror that gripped me in its icy grasp. Every fiber of my being screamed at me to run, to escape the suffocating presence that emanated from the soul before me. My heart hammered against my ribs, threatening to break free from its cage as my breath came in shallow, trembling gasps. Time seemed to slow to a crawl, the world around me fading into a nightmarish blur, leaving me isolated with the haunting entity that held me captive with its chilling gaze. Stay tuned for the upcoming episodes, where I'll delve deeper into my captivating stories and experiences. Brace yourself for the unfolding of my journey, marked by challenges and revelations, as I recount the remarkable transformation from a young girl to a resilient survivor.